Everybody, this is Jennifer. I'm coming to you with another sales update video. The sales are really starting to pick up, so instead of doing really long sales update videos, I'm going to try to do shorter ones and do more than one a week so it doesn't get crazy long. I don't know if it's Monday right now. It's November 6th, and I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but I was having so many problems printing out shipping labels today. It took me so long to get the packages done, and I actually Googled like what was going on, and what I noticed was there was like a lot of information that this happens periodically, and it usually happens on Monday. Like it can't handle like the influx of sales from over the weekend, and everyone's trying to print labels at the same time, and it most often crashes on Monday. And the reason I'm saying that, like, so if you're like, oh, I have enough time to do my packages in the morning, if you have the opportunity to do it on Sunday night, which is what I'm going to do from now on if I can, I'm going to do as much as I can on Sunday night because it was extremely frustrating. I started really, really late. I thought I had plenty of time, and it really just, came down to the wire of getting those packages out the door. So it's something to keep in mind, especially going into the holiday where it's going to be super busy, that this might happen on Monday, and maybe if you can get those packages done before Monday, it might be a good idea. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I was looking up non-iron shirts. I forgot even what I was Googling or what I was doing, but what popped up was formaldehyde and non-iron shirts, and I started reading these articles about the reason that the shirts are non-iron is that the anti-wrinkle comes from a resin that actually releases formaldehyde. So when you wear those shirts, you are actually absorbing formaldehyde through your skin, and they're like, that's okay because it's a safe amount. But to me, any amount of formaldehyde is not really a good thing. So I just wanted to say, in case anybody out there like would be concerned about that, like I would be concerned about that, whether it's for yourself or your husband or your boyfriend or your children, you may want to talk to them about it because a lot of people love non-iron shirts. But there is a company out there that does make formaldehyde-free non-iron shirts, and I think there's only one from what I could find, and the name of it is Twillory, Twillory. So if you would be concerned about this like I am, I just wanted to give you the name of a company that actually makes, non-formaldehyde iron-free shirts. And who knows, it may be a company to keep your eye out for because everyone seems to be becoming more and more health conscious. It may be something that eventually would be making money on eBay as well. Who knows? All right, the first item I have is a Columbia winter coat. I had this for a really, really long time. I picked it up at the dollar sale at the Salvation Army. It was probably well over a year ago, and it just did not sell. So eventually I lowered it to $11.99, and it sold for $11.99, and the buyer paid $19.99 with shipping. Okay, this is a woman's Brooks Brothers houndstooth wool blazer. If this had been a men's, it would have sold for a lot more, but it's a little harder with the women's. It does sell well, but it's a little bit harder. I picked this up for $7. It sold for $25, and the buyer paid $32.60. There's the label. You'll see Brooks Brothers. It says Brooks Brothers 346, I believe. I believe that's like a lesser quality Brooks Brothers. You may want to look into it. I don't think it's like the same quality as just the Brooks Brothers. And I think there might be another one too that isn't exactly the same quality. You could still pick them up. People still do buy them, but it might not get as much money. Okay, here's another Brooks Brothers. Let's look at the label. Okay, so this is just the Brooks Brothers. And the logo, I think this logo is desired, the B&B logo. Usually, unless there's something really unusual about a Brooks Brothers tie, I don't usually get too much money for them. They're good to pick up. Usually it's around $15. That's for me, but remember, I'm going for a quicker flip. So, if you want to sit on it, you possibly could make more money. But this did sell for $20, and it sold fairly quickly, and the buyer paid $23.31. So that B&B logo on the Brooks Brothers tie seems to be pretty good. Okay, this is a pair of Hagar men's dress pants. This isn't something I'd look for used. The only reason I picked it up, it was new with tags. It was half off at the Goodwill, and it was only $2.25. It sold for $17 and the buyer paid $24.20 with shipping. Okay, this is a pair of women's Merrell Tetra slide shoes. Again, when I pick it up, I'm picking up for the brand name. I don't know what type of shoe it is till I get home. I look for a style number on the inside of the shoe. I Google that style number. Sometimes nothing comes up, especially if it's an older shoe, but sometimes you'll be able to find it in a website, and that will give you all the information about the shoe, plus some like great keywords that you can put into your title. These were $5 at the Goodwill. They sold for $20, and the buyer paid $31.70 with shipping. Okay. All right, this is a pair of women's Old Navy Dreamer jeans. And you'll see, like, I have a lot of Dreamer Old Navy jeans. And the reason is I got a pair really, really cheap. And when I looked it up, it had been discontinued on their website. So it was still there, but it was discontinued and none were available. And there were so many people like going, oh, I love this jean. It's my favorite jean. So actually that caused me to pick it up because it's still new enough where people, it's their favorite jean and they're going to be looking for it, but Old Navy doesn't carry it anymore because they discontinued it. And so far it's been pretty successful. You're not going to make a killing on it, but if you can pick it up cheap enough, like this was only $3 and it sold fairly quickly for $15.99. You can see it's not really a big size 4. So, and the buyer paid $23.19 for shipping. So far, I've done pretty well with the Dreamer jeans from Old Navy. All right, this is a pair of Polo Ralph Lauren sneakers. I picked this up at a church sale. I picked up 2 pairs. The brown pair sold a little earlier. I paid $6.50 each, and they were missing the insole, but I thought they had a lot more value, so I was like, no problem, I'll pay $6.50. But they really didn't. They didn't have a tremendous resale value, so eventually I sold it for $17.99, and the buyer paid $28.04 with shipping. You know, that's still not bad. It's like a $10 profit, but it wasn't what I expected. Okay, I will do this when I see these like vintage blazers, double-breasted, and Ralph Lauren, like, so it's a good name. If it has like a crazy flaw, I will still pick it up because if it's cheap enough. Like this was at the 50-cent sale at the Goodwill. So I was just like, you know what? It was super, I mean, look at the label. There's a label and then it's got, you know, a Union label that looks like this. So, and it's double-breasted with gold buttons, but literally it had like a snag on the shoulder, and literally all the seam around the whole sleeve was coming undone. But to me that could be fixed. I'm not going to fix it, but it can be fixed and somebody might want it. So it was only 50 cents. I put it out on an auction for $9.99 and it didn't get a bid. So what I did is I put it out for, I think, $16.99. I took a best offer for $10 and the buyer paid $19.75 for shipping. So basically I made $10 on 50 cents even though it had this major flaw. I mean, even the buttons would have the value of $10 because look at the buttons that are on there. So that's something to keep your eye out for, and don't be discouraged. If something is cool enough, if it has a flaw, as long as the flaw can be fixed. If you have a huge hole in the front, like a huge circular hole, that's not going to do it. But if it's something that can be sewn by a tailor, you may want to pick that up. Okay, this was interesting because I get a lot of conversation about how do I know what to put on Etsy and how do I know what to put on eBay. I don't know, I guess. You know, I make an educated guess, and I'm very willing to change it depending on what happens. This, I was like, oh, great Etsy item, and I had it on Etsy for like a year, and it didn't sell. And you know, at that point, you don't have to stick to your first plan. I went, you know what? Even though I really thought this was an Etsy item, let me move it over to eBay. What did I pay for this? This was only $1. This is how old this was. It was from the Salvation sale. That does not exist anymore. So I moved it over to eBay, and I think it sold within 2 months. I had it out for $19.99. I took a best offer of $12.50, and the buyer paid $19.70 with shipping. So there's no clear answer of, you know, should you put it on eBay? Should you put it on Etsy? If it's vintage and it's odd like this, usually I try Etsy first. But I'm very, very willing to change if it doesn't work out. All right. The next item is a women's Banana Republic corduroy pants. This was $4.50 at the Goodwill, sold for $19.99, and the buyer paid $27.19 for shipping. And this is an Orvis shirt. It was a really kind of cool color. I don't know if you can see it. You see it's got the peach with the purple and the blue plaid. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but it went pretty quickly. It was only $3. It sold for $16.50, and the buyer paid $20.30 for shipping. And there's the tag. Anything Orvis I usually pick up, as long as it's like reasonable. Okay, this is the last eBay item. This is a pair of Born shoes. It kind of had, it was like a tapestry. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. So it's like this tapestry coating over the leather. It was really kind of interesting. This was half off at the Salvation Army, so it was $3, and they sold for $23.99, and the buyer paid $33.74 for shipping. That's all I have for eBay, and going over to Etsy. Alright, let me slow this down a little. Okay, I think this was on a haul video I did from a church sale. I think everything broke down to like $1.10 a piece. Now when I saw this, I didn't know if it was vintage, so I am sure you're supposed to put only vintage on Etsy, but sometimes you just really don't know. So I don't put vintage in the title, I just say it was before. I think for Etsy it has to be before 1997 or something like that, or 98, I'm not sure. But I just say it was before that time, and I'm just making the best guess that I can. But this was only $1.10. I'm assuming it wasn't that old. I put it out for $14.99, and it sold really quickly. When you have something like this that looks like this, you want to put Gothic in the title, steampunk in the title, because that draws a whole other crowd. So this sold fairly quickly, so I was very, very happy with that. This was half off at the Salvation Army, and it looks like it's in horrible shape, but people like this, like when the brass looks like this patina with all the age markings on it. So don't be discouraged if you see brass that looks like this, and don't clean it because people actually like this. And if somebody wants to clean it themselves, I think I've said this before, they can do it, but if you have somebody who wants this look and you've cleaned it, they can't get it back. So with brass, just leave it alone, save the patina, take close-up pictures, show them everything that's going on. I took a lot of pictures of this so they could see it, because there was a lot of wear. Well, it looks like wear to me, but people actually really like this. This sold in 2 days. I picked it up for $2. I put it out for $16.99, but it was a nice big pot, and it sold in 2 days. And the buyer paid actually $34.14 for shipping. So if you see these brass pots out there and they're cheap enough, definitely pick them up. They do sell. Okay, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and your sales are going great, and I will see you next time.